Raging companions, what's up? How are you? Today, dear friends, let's make an offering to the gods and let's give them a few minutes of our lives as a sacrifice, so that they may in turn let us vogue on the still waters of Styx. And don't forget to bring a torch with you, so that once we arrive, we may link the shrine fire once more. You guessed it, today we're speaking about Hades and Dark Souls. Yeah, games that slowly turn you into a masochist.
I'm really doing this myself, don't need nobody, don't need helping buddy. You ain't been through hell and back, it's funny. You ain't dealt with that, you acting up on every track. You lying, you ain't selling that. You pretty good at acting, man, you should get in a war for that. Don't tour for racks, it's not about the money. Don't perform for that, I focus on my artistry. Unlike the ones I'm soaring past, I'm hoarding bags. If you want a verse, I'm money more for that. I'm scamming trash rappers, man, they might take me to court for
While browsing YouTube in a sad, endless swiping motion, I asked myself, seeing the outrageous number of views in some videos on my feed, why do you even try to do YouTube? You're happy getting 50 views a video. Don't waste your own time. And that is actually true. And yet, I keep going at this overpowered YouTube boss that keeps coming at me relentlessly. I found this experience to be very similar to the feeling you get losing for the 50th time against the Nameless King without mentioning Gale, the dancer, because, well, that would bring up too much trauma to the surface, or against, in Hades' case, the dad final boss. And yet, you find yourself every time going back into the arena for the 51st time,
Hold, fiend! You'll walk not one more step toward the light of day.
thinking that this time you'll win. And with Hades, it's arguably even worse, because you have to go through the entire game again with enough health and lives to hope to beat this Giga Chad of a dad, which is really, really, really damn hard. I mean, the only good thing about the fight is the soundtrack. Thank God it's good. I would have lost my mind. Then, in a ray of enlightenment, I understood this to essentially be very similar to the idea I have of bravery and courage. This, in my humble opinion, is the core philosophy of Hades, and of Dark Souls, and of every game that makes you die over and over again, so that you can maybe add to the list Sekiro and Elden Ring that is to come. That is precisely meaning it what is seemingly pointless, because you can only be brave when all odds are against you. In both Hades and Dark Souls, you do tasks over again and again for what will probably be a pointless outcome. I mean, in Dark Souls, you know before you even start the damn fight that you're probably going to spend your day dying. While in Hades, even when you win, all you do is restart the game over and over again. You know, it's funny, because in Hades you literally get to meet Sisyphus, the guy who pushes a rock for all eternity, knowing that it will eventually fall back. You know, it kind of reminds me of my baccalaureate period. That's SAT for you, American heathens. When I drink 6 cups of coffee a day and, you know, ask myself every night why I couldn't sleep. I really thought it was just the stress that brought the exam, and I went for another cup of coffee, thinking that maybe it'll calm me down and help me sleep better. Goddamn, I was stupid. The existential philosopher Albert Camus said of Sisyphus' condition, one must imagine Sisyphus happy, as a way to cope with what he thought was the meaninglessness of life. Sisyphus should find meaning in the act itself, in the fact that he's pushing the rock.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
It's sort of an extreme version of living in the moment. Albert Camus was the OG hippie. Too bad it didn't live long enough to announce that he was in fact a vegan and that he moved around town on an electrical monowheel. If we were to apply this philosophy to Hades and Dark Souls, well, we should, in theory, keep playing the game not for the sake of actually winning or prevailing, but for the sake of playing itself, for the sake of dying over again and again. And, that didn't sit too well with me. Let's get back to Hades, and you'll understand what I'm saying in a bit. In the game, in fact, we get to meet with this Sisyphus guy, because it's from Greek mythology. Greek mythology, my favorite incest story. And I think the devs knew what they were doing when they depicted Sisyphus as a happy-go-lucky, satisfied fella pushing around a smiling rock he calls his best friend. He found literal meaning in the rock itself. Maybe he even got to learn some Chinese from his new-found friend.
Uh-oh. Chinese?
Ding bong ding dong, he's Stone Cold Aye!
I think he just ordered some chicken chow mein.
Who knows? Well, that's where my idea comes in, because on the other hand, I would beg to differ. Instead of seeing Sisyphus happy, I'd say one must see Sisyphus hopeful. I depict him as a hard-headed and overly hopeful man. If he keeps on pushing the rock, maybe, just maybe, one day it won't roll down. Maybe something will happen. Maybe the gods will pity him. Maybe he'll find a way out, because let's not forget.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
The possibility of this chance, as small or impossible as it could sound, would be completely nulled if Sisyphus stopped and gave up. On the other hand, if Sisyphus was happy, like Albert Camus condoned, he wouldn't see the opportunity that could present itself to him for only a slight moment, because we all know that you only see what you're looking for. In Dark Souls, you're surrounded by such people that gave up, that decided to get used to what they were doing and where they were and how they lived. Broken souls lying there, only to tell us of their tale and how time and death got the better of them. I wouldn't be brave if I fought a 9-year-old, even if there is a slight possibility of him kicking me in the nuts and TKOing me. Achilles isn't that brave for fighting Hector. He's almost immortal and is used to winning. He is, after all, the best of the Greek. He was confident and knew what he was getting into, and also knowing that he has a 90% chance of winning, as you know, the guy can't fucking die. I also have some examples of actual brave people. In my opinion, Perseus was a brave hero because he fought the Gorgon. Him facing an immortal being takes guts. Hercules is brave for the same reason. Facing the Hydra, it could have very easily killed him, and we see, ironically, he died from the poison of the Hydra. Guts from Berserk as well is brave, and in fact is very brave. I think the bravest of my examples, as he, a human, fights against gods. It would have been very easy for him to give up, as he lost friends, loved ones, parts of his body, escaping death by a hair each time, and yet he stands up again and fights with the same resolution, even though the chances of his struggle actually impacting anything is very close to none. This being very clearly illustrated by the number of psychopaths who keep saying Griffith did nothing wrong. That's not glasses you need, that's a new set of fucking eyes. There's a certain beauty, an appeal to this relentless advancing, to looking for that single thread of hope when the rope is almost entirely cut. There's beauty to someone who doesn't fall to meaninglessness, who doesn't bend to his fear. There's beauty when hope is facing an abyss, when it's facing impossibility and the worst of odds. Single shining star in a deep dark sky, and that specific form of beauty we call bravery. Damn! I didn't know I had it in me to be so poetic. I think you should subscribe and leave a like, just for that moment. Oh, sweet, sweet poetry. Bravery isn't knowing you'll win. It isn't knowing you're the strongest. It's being terrified, stricken by Phobos himself, and still taking that step forward towards what scares you, thinking that if there's a single way for you to advance, drowned in an ocean of ways for you to fail, you'll take the bet regardless. The brave is he who smiles when everyone else is crying. Thank you so much for listening to this shorter video. In the future I intend on diving deeper in Hades and on Dark Souls, and maybe even give my takes on different kinds of mythology. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and go check my other stuff. Some of it is quite good if I do say so myself, especially the video I made about Arcane. I think it's the best one I've released till this day. So go check it out and tell me what you think about it. With that, Raging Companions, don't forget, with it or on it.